Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
Trump wraps up his China trip. Hamas weaponizes sexual assault. Yale violates civil rights laws, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Air Force One lifted off after U.S. President Donald Trump wrapped up his visit to China, where he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping this week. A White House release about a meeting between Xi and Trump read in part, the two sides agreed that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open to support the free flow of energy. President Xi also made clear China's opposition to the militarization of the strait and any effort to charge a toll for its use, and he expressed interest in purchasing more American oil to reduce China's dependence on the strait in the future. Both countries agreed that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. America's top business leaders traveled with Trump to Beijing and met with Premier Li Qiang Thursday to discuss U.S.-China economic and trade cooperation. China is willing to work with the United States to implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state, strive for more positive outcomes, achieve mutual success, and promote common prosperity, and better benefit the people of both countries and the world, reads a press release about the meeting from the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Senate unanimously agreed to adopt a resolution on Thursday that will withhold senators' pay during a lapse in funding for any federal agency, following two lengthy and record-breaking shutdowns in recent months that have taken a toll on federal workers. Led by GOP Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, the resolution directs the Secretary of the Senate to withhold pay from senators during a lapse in appropriations for one or more federal agencies or departments. The payments would be released after the shutdown comes to an end. The resolution was adopted by unanimous consent Thursday. The Supreme Court on Thursday preserved women's access to mifepristone, a drug used in the most common method of abortion, rejecting lower court restrictions while a lawsuit continues. The court's order allows women seeking abortions to continue obtaining the drug at pharmacies or through the mail without an in-person visit to a doctor. Access is likely to remain uninterrupted at least into next year as the case plays out, including a potential appeal to the High Court. The justices granted emergency requests from makers of the drug who are appealing a federal appeals court ruling that would require women to see a doctor in person and halt delivery of the drug through the mail. The Federal Food and Drug Administration, which first approved the drug for use in abortion in 2000, stopped requiring in-person visits 5 years ago. A new report released Tuesday by the Civil Commission on October 7th Crimes Against Women and Children confirmed that Hamas and its Palestinian collaborators used sexual and gender-based violence deliberately and systematically as an inherent part of a wider strategy of the 2023 massacres in southern Israel. The nonprofit said its investigation documented evidence of abuse at multiple sites during the October 7th terror invasion, including the Nova Music Festival, kibbutzim near the Gaza border, Israel Defense Forces bases, among hostages in captivity, and in the condition of recovered bodies showing signs consistent with sexual violence. According to the report, investigators identified at least 13 recurring forms of abuse, including rape, sexual torture, shootings directed at victims' genitalia area, and abuse carried out after death. The Justice Department says the Yale School of Medicine discriminated based on race in its admissions, violating federal law. After a year-long investigation wrapped up, the Civil Rights Division found Yale's leadership intentionally selected applicants based on their race. The Civil Rights Division says documents show Yale studied how to use racial proxies to get around the Supreme Court's prohibition on using race to select students. The investigation showed Black and Hispanic applicants were admitted with consistently lower academic qualifications than their white and Asian counterparts, the Civil Rights Division said. The department found Yale violated the law by intentionally discriminating based on race in its admissions. That's the Raw Naked Truth for May 15th, 2026. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.